is up, you guys? We are back with another episode of No Pues
Wow. And introducing, we have una de las primas aquí con nosotros.
Una de las primasas. Prims.
La mamá de las primas.
Literalmente, güey. La mamá de las primas.
De las bebés.
De las pollitas, güey. Ella es la mamá de las pollitas.
Sí, soy.
La mom. Nuestra moms.
She is the oldest cousin of our dad's side.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So,
that's right.
Yeah, our dads are her mom's, siblings.
Mm-hmm.
Brothers.
We're all blood.
Yeah.
Sangre. Salud, muchachas.
Aquí con el tequilazo de siempre.
Agua guayaki. Revelberry.
Agua
Yerba mate.
bendita.
Si no saben que yerba mate, ¿qué es yerba mate? Yerba mate es la bebida más chingona para la energía que van a necesitar en su vida, en su cuerpo, en su mente, en su todo. No se compara a nada con Red Bull, no se compara a nada con Monster, no se compara a nada con esos químicos malignos para el cuerpo. ¡No! No. Tipo que no se crean. Pero la verdad, guayaki's a shit. I fucking shotgun guayakis all the fucking time.
We know.
Literally.
¿Con la abuela?
I live con la abuela.
Yeah.
I just shotgunned a guayaki with my grandma. She's like, Tita, ¿qué estás haciendo? Dijo, pinche Tita. But she said it like,
so cute.
You're crazy, but I'm worried about you.
But I'm with the shit, too.
But I'm with the shit. And you know what I love about my grandma, you guys? Our grandma? Is that, well, we say my grandma, you guys know why, because fucking Spanglish, we always say
that. Like
she's
my
mom, my
even though
grandma.
we share the
My
mom.
sister and I say that.
Literally.
It's normal.
Yeah.
Pero with my grandma, I was just having this conversation with you the other day. She's with the shits. She's adapting to us, and she's not like, no pueden hacer esto, no es normal, esto, lo otro. No.
Yeah.
My grandma is such a beautiful human being. Like, she literally, ay, mija, pues ustedes saben. Or, ay, mija, pues yo no sé, yo qué te voy a decir, mija. Like, she doesn't try to impose on you.
Yeah.
Her vibe is like, I'm going to respect you. I'm going to respect your space. And let me tell you, it is so beautiful for her.
Either that or she's
Literally.
just sick of our shit. Because we're wild.
Literally. She's like,
It could be one or the other. You never know which one it is.
She's probably just
no
like,
voy a ponerle.
ay, pues, ¿qué le voy a hacer?
Pues, ¿qué chingados vamos a hacer?
¿Qué voy a decir?
Así son ya.
Nada. Pues nada.
Ni modo de cambiarlas. De chingármelas.
No,
ya
she's
todas
great.
grandes y sesentonas. No, qué barbaridad. Pero bueno, estamos de regreso. Estamos en un episodio más de No Pues Guau. Estamos súper mega contentísimas de estar de nuevo, de estar vivas, de estar respirando. Y súper mega agradecidas por todos ustedes, la verdad. We are so beyond grateful. I cannot express into words what it means to me to be having people talk to me about the podcast, what it meant to them, the episodes, what they're taking from it. And just to have someone so special like Miriam on
Y'all are doing great.
on the podcast with us is absolutely amazing. So a little disclaimer, we will be calling her Miriam in English y Brenda Lee
In Spanish.
En español.
in Spanish.
Miriam
So,
Brenda Lee.
su nombre es Miriam Brenda Lee, pero en inglés es Miriam.
Yeah.
And en español es Brenda Lee.
Yeah.
All my life.
Because medium sounds weird. Don't say it.
Medium.
Medium.
So then she goes by Brenda.
Brenda Lee. Because
She
it
goes-
sounds better.
Brenda Lee.
Yeah.
Brenda Lee.
You know, just put my last name out there, social
Brenda
security
Lie.
number. Just
No.
give it all out.
She's like, start the list.
Just start
Might
the
as well
list.
just link it
Yeah.
in the description
Link it
box
in the
down
description
below.
box down
Kidding,
below.
I'm just kidding.
In case you guys
Follow her
wanna
at
know.
Miri _
No.
Sorry.
No,
She doesn't have social media. Miri _
I'm a nun. Una monja,
I'm a nun.
if you will.
Yo soy una María, que no es monja, pero
Okay.
María.
Okay.
Bueno, pues el día de hoy, we are so fucking excited to be having another charla. Literalmente una charla.
We
But-
have been feeling like we really absolutely have been loving. Wow. I couldn't get that out. Like, we've been absolutely loving and blah, 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 blah. No, but we have been enjoying having these conversations kind of like conversation like podcast with you guys. And we ironically the topic of our conversation is about structure, and I feel like our first episodes were so structured because we had segments and we had, you know, our outline and what we wanted to talk about. And I mean, we still kind of discussed what we wanted to talk about, but there is kind of like not really a structure to the structure topic.
We're going with the flow.
Yeah, we're just going with the flow once again, because I feel like we have a lot always to share in our perspective. And so it makes it seem like, oh, okay, so now we're going to have this very conversation like, and when you bring on guests, I feel like it makes it even that much more interesting because they get to, you know, share their perspective as well. So thank you for being here.
La mamá de los pollitos nos va a dar la perspectiva. Nos va a dar su perspectiva porque...
I was about to do the same thing. I was about to be like...
Saquen las pistolas.
Okay.
Anyways.
No se crean. Todavía no.
Es broma.
Cálmense, por favor. No se alteren. No nos hagan hacer cosas que no queremos hacer, por favor. Dios mío santo. Anyways, diría el gabacho.
Anyway.
We are going to talk about the basis of this podcast today is we're going to talk about structure. And we're not going to talk about structure like giving you fucking advice on how to have good structure. I personally want to talk about my struggles with structure and discipline. And this is a struggle that I've been dealing with for a long fucking time. And I haven't understood it until very recently, right? Because when you begin to engage into conversations with people that are more in depth and you begin to engage into conversations with your circles, like your family and your friends, that you're talking about growth, prosperity, structure, discipline, all of these things, it stems something in you. It sparks something in you. And quite frankly, it's fucking phenomenal to be having these discussions porque nosotros, desde que nacimos, nos han puesto en una vida estructural. We've been in a fucking structured segment like of our lives. We've been structured our entire lives, pretty much. And today we're going to talk about different types of structure, what those mean to us individually as, you know, very different people. We're the same family.
We are.
But we have different parents, different households, different disciplines.
Raised differently.
We are raised differently. But we're going to talk about how structure within the realm, you know, the subpoints of structure and the types of structure have affected us and shaped the way that we think and who we are today. So let's get straight into it. Michelle, I know you always have points, but let's just talk about defining, in your guys' opinion, ¿qué es la estructura? What is structure to you guys? And we can even start with defining the types of structure. We did kind of an outline and wrote them down. So go ahead and take it off. Take it away.
Well, in my opinion, I actually did not write a whole bunch of key points like I did last time, but I did have a lot of thoughts, right? Because if you think about it, everything in your life, everything in the human life is a structure, right? So when you think about it from the moment that you're born to, you know, to your very last day of your breath, you follow a certain pattern, you follow a certain structure, and depending on where your culture, where you're based, where you were born, it kind of defines what kind of structure you are to follow, right? What kind of like your upbringing will be. And, you know, it varies, it's all different, but for, you know, I feel like the Mexican parents, it's always been like super strict and like religiously influenced, and they have this expectancy of like your structure is you're born, you go to school, you do the chores, the house chores, you ser obediente, they teach you morals, and then after that you're not going to leave the house until you're married, and so then therefore when you marry someone, like you stay with them for a lifetime, you have you know, even sometimes like when you get married it automatically means kids, you know, like they expect like you're married, when are the kids, you know,
like
not just
Pop
And,
them
you know,
out, let me see them titties.
Exactly, you know?
Pussy.
And
Pussy.
I feel like I've always, like, our generation is a little bit different because we challenge those norms. We challenge the society. We challenge those beliefs.
Yes.
And we're changing things because we realize that, no, some things just don't correlate with this kind of structure. Because, sure, while some may need structure, not everyone needs that kind of structure.
Or wants it.
Or wants the structure.
Yeah.
Because you want to be able to customize your own personal structure to your beliefs, your wants, your how you want to live your life. Because again, and you were saying that earlier, I can't remember what conversation we were having, but you said somewhere along the lines like, you have one life. Oh, we were talking about los tóxicos. Los
sí.
Los vecinos tóxicos.
Los vecinos tóxicos.
My neighbors, don't watch this, please.
You know? Los vecinos tóxicos.
Sí.
Por eso lo dijo en
Yo
español.
dije, wait, pobrecitos. I was driving by and I know where she lives, so I los vi. Dije, güey, de todas las personas que vi el día de hoy, vi a los tóxicos y pues qué pena, ¿no? Que viven una vida y la tienen que vivir así.
Yeah.
And we talked about toxicity last time and the fucking repercussions of it, and, you know, don't fucking have it and don't allow it in your life. No. Pero for me, I told Miriam, maybe they didn't have a choice. Like financially, they fucking couldn't afford anything, you know, separated from each other. And then there's also like the mental and emotional aspect of like mental manipulation, emotional attachment. Yeah. This person is, even though he makes me cry, you know, we're not really going to get into toxicity, but we were talking about you live one fucking life,
right?
Yeah,
you live one life. And so for that, like, you know, when you go here in the States, you know, what are you taught? What is your structure? You go to school to get an education, to get a good job. Mm-hmm. And for us personally at home, it was kind of like you go to school to get your degree because way back when the degree is what made the difference. Yeah. And, you know, you get married and you still have like all of these cultural norms that you're supposed to follow. Yes. And so basically that's what you do because that is the structure that was basically laid out for you that you have to follow.
You didn't really have a choice. They fucking, your parents laid it out for you and they said, vas a estudiar, tienes que obedecer, tienes que ir a la escuela, tienes que trabajar. Cuando empiezas a trabajar, so let's just discuss. Because we didn't
have the opportunity to.
Because we didn't have the opportunity to, you're going to do it. Yeah. And a part, I'm like, fuck yeah, I'm so grateful. I feel like I'm privileged to be able to do this, to be able to speak two languages. But it is a lot of pressure. Yeah. And not everybody is meant to handle that pressure. Mm-hmm. That pressure isn't for everybody. And so I feel like definitely we have to discuss the various different types of structure. Lo que es estructura educacional, estructura casera, estructura del trabajo, estructura social, structural, social structure, educational structure, how like upbringing, you know, your structure and your how you were raised. And finally, what was the other one that I touched on? Your work structure. Right? And so your entire life, you live it under this idea of structure. And that is tied to discipline. And there are a lot of benefits of having a structured life. But the thing about structure and extreme discipline, which I'm not a very disciplined person. Like I feel like tengo las disciplinas de ser desmadrosa y de decir malas palabras y tal vez de...
Es muy disciplinada en estos aspectos.
O sea, yo soy muy disciplinada en ser cabrona, por decirlo bien, ¿no?
She's a bad bitch.
Pues sí.
Cabrona. To my English-speaking friends. Cabrona. So I'm very disciplined in being a cabrona. And so that, just kidding. Getting to the point. What I'm trying to get at. What I was telling Michelle and what I was telling Miriam, and I don't know if you guys agree with me or not, but I was talking about structure and the place and role that it should have in your life, because the role that it has in my life, it kind of, depending on who's giving you the structure, where you're getting the structure from, whether it's work, school, society, or your family, it's controlling your fucking life.
Yeah. I feel like to an extent, your parents are the ones who lay out kind of like this foundation or your initial structure.
Yes.
But I think it has to be also like, how do I want to word this? Like, tiene que ser inculcado en ti mismo to find your own structure. Because otherwise they're gonna like tell you their own structure.
Yes.
Yeah.
And if you follow that because you don't know better, then you're going to find yourself in situations that you're going to be unhappy, that you're not going to be content. You're not going to be like, I don't know, like you're not going to be successful per se, because sometimes, a lot of the time, you may take a look, someone might have the house, someone might have the car, some might have the money, but they're not they're not happy.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, so I followed the structure that was what I was supposed to
did
follow.
everything that I was supposed to do.
Yeah.
I went to the T. I got a career. I have a 9-to-5. I'm an excellent employee. I follow the regimen. I'm very disciplined. But
Why am I not happy?
Where the fuck is your passion?
Yeah.
Correct.
And one thing that I did mention yesterday was that structure, in a way, it hinders creativity.
It does.
The structure from the point when you're fucking born to grade school or college, your creative process, if your parents don't allow you to think for yourself, to have a creative process. I was walking with my grandma the other day. We went on a hike, and there was this lady with her daughter or her son, and I think she had a boy and a girl. The lady was like, I usually let you run in the mud, but today I told you not to run in the mud. And so I thought about that, and I'm like, okay. And then my grandma, when we were walking, Pablito, my little cousin, he was walking down. She's like, Pablo, like
Walking
worried.
in the mud.
And I'm like, I thought about it, like, what the fuck am I going to do when I have my kids? I would like to tell them, if you go down that hill, there's a probability that you're going to fall and break your fucking face.
Make a decision.
I'm going to leave it up to you. If you fall and break your fucking face, you got to get back up. Don't come for me. Because I'm telling you what's going to happen. I would like to allow my kids to fall. I would like to allow them to learn for themselves, because los putazos de la vida, la verdad, por decirlo así como va, son los putazos de la vida los que te enseñan más. Tu mamá y tu papá te pueden decir, no hagas esto, no hagas lo otro, protégete, esto.
Tú no te vas de la casa hasta que no estés casada.
Literalmente.
And if you shelter them, it's just going to set them up for failure.
Nothing is going to
learn.
fucking work. Like, nothing is going to teach you about life like life. True. Life experiences, traumas, relationships, and friendships. Yeah. Like, it's fucking wild to think of it like, wow, you should all... No, I'm not saying go fucking be all creative and shit, but I'm saying let people think for themselves.
Yeah, exactly. So like when you think about like the what is laid out to you, and I was doing some research right as we started, right? So like the cycle and the the order that you are to follow. You're born, then you start school, and then you make friends, and then now you graduate, you go to college, and then you graduate, you get a good job, and you don't tend to either get married until after you graduate, because that's what you're supposed to do after your things are done. Then you get married, and then after you fall in love, then you get married, and then from there you maybe get a house, or maybe you get you finally start to have kids, and then from there then you go and you do your own thing, and then now you save for your retirement, and then you retire, and then you die. So it's just like, okay, so that's typically the usual way to do it. I'm going to go to school. I can't get married right now. I can't fall in love right now because I'm in school.
Yeah.
I can't do this, and I
that
can't do that because right now I want to make sure that I finish this. But the reality is, like, for example, I love school and I love education, but I didn't graduate college. Mm-hmm. Why? Because it's like, you don't have to necessarily go to college for you to be labeled as a smart person. You know what I mean? Because it's
don't. I'm in the same boat.
Exactly. And it's like, okay, well, I'm not necessarily married, but I do have a house and I do live with my significant other.
And you're in love.
And I'm in love and I'm happy. And if I choose to have kids, exactly. And if I choose to bring a child into this world before we choose to get married,
that's okay too.
It's exactly. Or
that's
what
process.
What if I want to have a kid before I even meet, I don't know, someone that it depends. It's all up to you, but because it's like, well, no, now you need a structure,
society is gonna look down on you, and it's cultural. La pinche cultura, it's like, ay, no está casada y salió embarazada y cómo le vamos a hacer y esto y lo otro, y no, yo no puedo.
Hey,
yo
you know what?
No voy a lidiar con esas
exactly,
mamadas.
because guess what? If the opportunity came to your door that a house was a great opportunity before you became married, take it. Because
in
it's
California,
like, no,
bitch,
I can't.
yes. I mean, are you kidding
yeah,
me?
because
like,
it's
fuck.
like, no, well, now I can't because I'm not married, you know, and it's not right. I'm like,
Yeah.
you know, like I just want to punch somebody in the face, be like, it's not about what is right in society
Who
terms.
defines
It's
right
about
and
what is
wrong?
right for you.
Yes.
And you
Yes.
know, that's where you kind of have to like analyze yourself. And really, honestly, sometimes I feel like I shatter my parents' hearts, you know, and sometimes they even to this day they come and then they're like, "Oy, para cuando la boda?" Like you're already living together, like you guys need to be married because of these standards and da-da-da-da. I agree to an extent.
Yeah.
But the reality is like I'm here today. Yeah. I love my partner. I don't necessarily, we would love to get married because that's a conversation that we had. And we do want to get married one day when the time is right. Exactly. It doesn't have to be now.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
I feel like though we are like creatures of habit, and they were brought up in a very different time, as were their parents and their parents. So it's hard to kind of break those ties when it's just a cycle. You know what I mean? But it's up to us, I think. We have more resources, more, you know, education.
We just live in a different generation.
We live in a way different generation.
We live in a different generation.
So I think it's hard to break those. But we've kind of woken up, and I think we could kind of break those.
And so now we're actually challenging. And this is the conversation that we wanted to have about the structure, you know, and like your
challenging structure.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Challenging
because
that particular structure.
You should always be true to yourself. Mm-hmm. And you can't fucking find yourself if you're too busy going to a 9-to-5 where you're fucking miserable and you're not even dedicating any time. What do I like? What are my talents? What are my dreams? Shit, what am I good at? Fuck, I'm not good at anything. Why am I not good at anything? Well, because you were never placed in a space where you can creatively think and develop these talents and fucking passions and all of these things. You kind of have to have this like awakening period of like, oh my God, you know, the pandemic
discover
hit.
yourself.
Literally last year I went through it. The pandemic hit and I didn't really have a passion. I dibble dabble in everything, right? I sing, I dance, I cook, I cry. I'm just kidding.
I did math.
I do
heroin.
Chiva, mota, coca, todo lo que pendeje. No, I'm just kidding. No. But I didn't know. I was like, okay, you know what? I was taking a break from social media last year. And during that process, it really helped me because I was like, what do I want to do? Fuck it. I want to build an American flag. And I had never even thought about building something out of wood or anything like that. Lo and behold, starting that American flag process, which looked amazing.
It looks good.
She did it. She killed it.
Yeah, literally looks so amazing. I built 2 of them. I didn't know that I had this hidden passion for carpentry and building something. And when you do something when you find this hidden passion and gem, dude, there's nothing.
It's fun.
Not only is it fun, it's like
it's a good time.
It's like an awakening. Yeah. Like you're like, oh my God, I never knew that I wanted to do this. And now I'm in a phase in my life where I want to learn more and grow more and do more and eventually have my own shop and build and create and, you know, share with you guys or sell or make a business out of it. Yeah. But I always had my mind, tengo que ir a la escuela, me tengo que graduar, tengo que ser abogada, voy a ser abogada, tengo que casarme, tengo que tener hijos, tengo que comprar casa. No.
You can do those things with balance, though.
Yes, you can do those things with balance. Yeah. And if I wanted to do those things, I'm not thinking about those things necessarily per se. I'm not putting, my number one focus right now is not necessarily like, yes, I'm going to law school. I'm very grateful. And God willing, I will thrive in law school. But I'm not afraid to not like law school.
Yeah.
I'm not afraid of that.
That's good.
Because I've found this passion. And if law school doesn't work out for me, it doesn't work out. If it works out for me, bendito Dios.
Yeah.
For my
and
bank
that's
account.
where you really realized, you know,
Literally.
that was something that you were passionate about and that's something that was your true calling, you know?
Exactamente.
Yeah.
And I know one of my main goals in life is to help others and to give back to society more than what I'm taking from society. And I think that's the underlying premise for like a lot, you know, the underlying foundation for a lot of the ways that I think, my personality. And I know that if law school doesn't work out, with the capabilities that I have and God has blessed me with and the education that I've got.
You got it. You could
Like
just-
you're going to succeed no matter what.
I have a degree. Like I can go and get a state job, go and get a job where I'm going to give back to my community, and I am not afraid anymore.
Yeah.
But
in an essence, like you do need structure.
Yes, of course.
What I
mean,
disagree with, it's like the right structure and the wrong structure.
yes.
I think it becomes extreme.
Exactly, because it's like if you don't do this, it's
There's family pressures, societal pressures,
oh, you didn't
pressure
do
on
that,
yourself,
did you?
amongst other
You know?
things, the shit that you have going
Like-
on in your own head. Like it's a lot.
Exactly, and it's
How
just
have you guys dealt with people pressuring you to be structured? Like reflect back on your childhood and what your guys' childhood structure was like.
Yeah.
Because I think that of all of us, I think the most structured person has definitely been Michelle. I feel like she's always been like la responsable, la disciplinada, no? Yo siento.
What about Rosie?
Rosie too, now more.
More.
As a mom, she's very more like on top of her stuff.
Yeah.
But I mean, in terms of like structure, I feel like Michelle always followed this like.
I think that for me, it was more like I was so much more afraid of the nightmare versus chasing my dreams, if that makes sense. Like I'd never really had let's just say, oh, well, I'm going to go after my psychology degree. I'm going to go after my criminal justice degree. I'm going to go after, being a police officer, whatever I wanted to do. I was more scared of like what the nightmare looked like, not having a career and being poor and doing all these things. And I incredibly loved my parents. So I've always felt like I followed per se like a structure, and I always analyzed my peers, right? I remember I would analyze like, look at what they're doing and the results. Do I want that?
Yes.
No. So guess what? I'm going to just kind of like, I'm going to still have fun, but I don't need that to have fun and the urge, because everybody wanted to fit in and everybody wanted to be cool. And everybody was like, oh, if you want to be cool, you got to be a part of this. And I think we were having this conversation like a couple days ago that I was like, okay, I'm going to be cool or whatever. And then he was like, yeah, we're having this kickback. And I think I showed up to the kickback, and then everybody was just like doing their own thing, and it wasn't like what I thought that was cool, and everybody else thought that it was cool. And I said, you know what, I don't know. Now you got to think about, okay, so I enrolled in like an AVID program in high school so that you can, prepare and get to college, visited universities, did some research, and then after that, I felt like I graduated. I went to, the universities or whatever, the JCs, and I went to 2 different ones. And then I'm like, now if you actually analyze the facts, the fields are so competitive because everybody now goes to school to get a degree to the point where a bachelor's degree is now so like it's like
a high school diploma, bro.
Exactly.
It ain't shit.
And it's like, rare. Wow, you got it. Okay, cool. Well, do you have a PhD now, or do you have a master's?
Go for your master's.
Yes.
So and now you're being, and I also did see that it's a money industry. And don't get me wrong, I do believe that you need to get educated if you're going to be a doctor, that you should go, get educated.
Yeah,
Please do.
Bitch, I would have
like if you're
por favor.
You know what I mean? But if it's just like, if you don't know your right calling, I feel like you need to get to know you before you go and invest your time and your money.
Your money, your energy, and all
Your
that fucking
energy.
time. Literally the time. Like you're losing time if you're going in thinking, oh, well, my mom and dad told me that I should do this and I would be good at this. And everybody in life has told me that they think that I would be really great at this.
Yeah.
And I'm going to pursue this instead of going and finding yourself and what you love.
Exactly. I feel like when we're very little, they did more skill development since you're very young, just like as in like when you go to school and you're taught science and you're taught this, and then if you actually analyze where your strong suits are, then you can actually legitimately develop more into those skills
because you're practicing those skills more.
Yeah, but I don't feel like schools like nourish that in
They don't
when they're younger.
Bro.
They have
Vale
a curriculum
madre,
they
because
stick
of
to
the
it.
structure that they follow for government funding and for all these
because the
money.
government controls literally the first 2 fucking years of college. they're government mandated classes. The government saying you have to be, we want every American to be.
You want to be a police officer, you got to take a lab, science, and biology.
Yeah. Like all of this shit, like it's just, instead of focusing 4 years on your in depth on your career, I feel like the first 2 years are a waste of time.
They are.
Literally.
Yeah.
A waste. Unless they're allowing you or pushing you towards this creative process of developing a skill set or developing, you know, your passions or helping you find what it is that you're meant to do, then yeah. But the first 2 years, it's not like that.
Do you feel like high school prepared you for college or life?
High school prepared me for jack shit.
Jack shit. That's right.
I understand that when you're little, you have to get a lot more. I feel like it needs to be a funnel, right? Mm-hmm. I feel like school needs to be, they need to teach you everything because of course you have to learn everything. And then from there, they should funnel it down to like you personally. Okay,
but
right?
Sprinkle in some finances. How do you do your taxes? How do you manage money?
Yeah.
Correct. How do you do any of that?
Fuck
in high
you guys.
School, I didn't get taught that.
No
way.
Yeah, like
no.
I feel like
myself.
maybe like, you know, like exactly like now high school, I feel like it should be more now that you know everything about like science and this and how this works and that, now you can actually be more like life prepping, you know, skills so that when you go out, you're not struggling with all of these different things. Like you don't even know how credit works.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Why do we even have credit?
Yep. Fuck if I know.
Why is
No
it
me pregunten,
like
no me pregunten porque no sé.
Yeah, and so it's just kind of like it's one of those things where like it's like you don't know what you're doing and it's so hard to screw yourself over because you don't know.
Yeah. But then there's also a little bit of shame built into that with asking. You know? Like I don't want to ask because everyone else seems like they know what they're doing.
Yeah.
Yes.
There's
oh,
also
yes.
that.
Yeah.
I had a little bit of shame with that. And it was like, I mean, obviously I learned myself. I did the research, but it's not easy for people to speak up and say, I don't know something.
Oh, yeah. Because you're like...
Exactly.
Pendejo.
Baboso.
Baboso. Yo ya les dije, estoy requete babosa y el reporte político de pendejos incluye una pendeja que soy yo, okay? I love learning, and people who love learning and growing are not afraid to fucking say that they don't know something, because if they fucking know something, then why are they learning something that they are... O sea, ¿me entienden? ¿Me captan lo que les estoy tratando de decir?
Yep.
Sí.
No estamos diciendo que la estructura es mala. No es mala. La estructura chingona es una estructura que está adaptada a tu vida, tu creatividad, tus pasiones, tus encantos, tu familia. Algo que está hecho por ti y para ti. Una estructura chingona. Tú dices, yo tengo problemas del tiroides, yo tengo que hacer esta dieta, yo tengo problemas de la espalda, yo tengo que tomar esto. Estructuras diferentes, ajustables. No una estructura fucking básica que todos hacen y todos van a seguir.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
So then now when you're seeing someone being a wreck, because that's, I guess you could say their structure, how would you feel about that? Like,
what do you mean a wreck? Explain that to me.
Like, for example, if they're derailing.
Someone with no structure
Someone
at
with
all.
no structure. Or someone with, it's like, no, fuck this, fuck that, I'm not going to do that.
Well,
I'm going to just do my own thing.
You can only help people so much.
You can only help people so much.
People are going to do what they want.
Yeah.
You know?
I think that with people that don't have structure, you can give them the basics of how to find structure, but...
Give them the resources. Don't tell them what to do.
You have to get to know, first of all, you have to know what you're dealing with. You have to know their personality type. You have to know what it is that the challenge and problems are within their life and what is hindering them from being a structured individual.
Do you think that they're just maybe misunderstood?
Possibly.
Or maybe they're just so pressured by the own structure that society has built that the only thing that they think, that the only thing they have left to do is to just
have a mental breakdown.
Self-sabotage.
Literally.
Yeah.
Y ese es el pinche problema. 100%. Catch 22.
Say fuck it to everything and just...
Because the pressure of like, fuck, I gotta go to get a, you know.
You know what? I feel people like that. I feel people that like que un día agarran las tijeras y se cortan el... Britney Spears in 2007, bitch. That's what it is. Britney Spears.
We understand her now.
We get her.
We get
her.
I want to go.
I do anyway.
And do the same thing.
You better work, bitch. You want a Lamborghini? But Britney Spears in 2007.
It's like the song "Stressed Out," right, by 21 Pilots.
Yes.
You know, it's exactly
it makes
what
so
it
much
is.
more sense.
Yeah.
Ando bien estresado porque no tengo para la renta. Y si no tengo para la renta, voy a tener que sacar las tetas. Y si saco las tetas, se va a enojar mi marido. Y si se enoja mi marido, me no da una partida de madre. Da, 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 da.
Pues sí.
Pero a lo que queremos llegar con la estructura, there's also this thing of like, for me personally, I think the biggest struggle that I've had is that I don't do shit. This is fucking hard. I don't do shit
Say it.
for me. I am not accountable to myself.
You're very selfless.
I'd rather be accountable to the fact that I have fucking dough rising. Literally, because I'm a mixer and a baker.
You make some good bread, though.
Dough fucking rising. And I'll wake up at 5 a.m. to make sure that I knead my dough and I pop it in the oven and I get everything going for it. Than me waking up early so I can get shit done that I need to get done.
Because some people need to have that carrot to chase is the best way that Christian described it. Because like now he's like, I had a carrot to chase my whole entire life. And now that I feel like I've reached it, now I'm like, oh shit, like I'm so lost because this whole entire time I've been so geared and focused. And, you know, that just kind of tells you that there's more than what you think.
Yeah.
So it's just like, if you continue like grow and start to think about like, what it is that you want, you just have to set those things up for yourself.
Right.
Because ain't nobody else going to do that for you.
But also, what did I tell you? When you focus so much on other people, you're masking the fact that you need to work on yourself too.
Yeah.
It's
definitely
another form of a distraction.
I definitely need to work on myself. Like for me, it's like, I don't give a, sometimes
because I
don't
do the
even
same
give
thing.
a.
I recognize it in you because I do the same thing.
Because
Hey, I say say that to her all the time. I'm like, damn, Tita, like I'm only telling you this because I see myself in you.
Yeah.
And because I've done that shit.
Yeah.
And if I could have an external person tell me this, I would tell myself this. So I'm just telling you. And, you know, like you yourself, you recognize, like, you're like, fuck, man.
Yeah.
Like, I learned the hard way. And, you know, I had to learn how to, you know, get over this myself. And the best thing that you can do is just pass on your advice to somebody else.
Yeah.
And then if there's something that sometimes where you identify a behavior that you do, you wish you could change that on them because you wish
that's what I try to do. As the oldest cousin, that's what I try to do.
Yes.
I've had multiple conversations with all of you.
But I also think that's also correlated to the way that your parents treat you too. Like I could parallel that to like, okay, your parents being like, oh, yo la cagué, no quiero que la cagues tú. You kind of sometimes have to let go and let them fall. Like let me fall or let me go through what I'm going to go through.
Let me fail because success is built on failure.
Exactly. And when I fail is when I learn the most and I can get up and succeed from that failure. But my biggest struggle is the fact that I feel like I don't respect myself. You guys briefly understand to the people who have barely started watching, but the people that know me, they know that I'm confident. They know that I have good self-esteem. They know that I'm strong
of a woman.
They know
she's a bad bitch is what she's just trying to say.
That I value myself, but to a certain extent, because there's a lot of inner demons inside of me that and the basic root that I've kind of discovered by having these in-depth conversations with friends is that I do not respect myself enough. And to be able to hold yourself accountable to yourself, you have to respect yourself so fucking much. When you go to a job, you have a duty and you have a respect for that job because that job is paying. Some people have respect. When I have a job, I get up and I go to that fucking job and I complete my job and I do my duties and my, you know, everything. And I come back. And when I have to meet someone, I get up and I meet them. If I have my dough rising, I get up and I have my dough rising. But if it's for me, if I have to wake up early for me, for my personal growth, so I can accomplish something,
I'm going to lay in bed.
Bitch, the alarm rings for fucking 2 hours and I don't get up.
And then snooze it 17 times.
And then I feel depressed as fuck.
Yeah.
After, I feel like a fucking failure.
That's how I am with working out.
Like I'm not... Working out. Perfect fucking example.
Hello.
Working out, dieting, all that shit.
Yeah.
And that's that, you know, I've been structured and I kind of know that you do have to follow a structure and discipline to be able to succeed in those things. But also, I have to do it on my terms.
Yeah.
Creatively adapting these disciplines to my life and my terms.
Or else it won't happen.
But the root of it is that I have to start beginning to, at least trying, to respect myself more.
That's where I lack structure too.
Because if you don't respect yourself, you're not gonna do shit for you. And I love giving. I love helping others. I love family, friends. I literally call people all the time. Let's hang out. I'm the one who like reaches out to people. I'm that type of person. And you need help. You need this. You need that. I'm here. I got you. I got your back. And I feel like I don't do that for myself, and I have to be my own friend.
Yeah.
Before I can really be someone else's friend. Like I have to be my own friend, love myself and respect myself.
You're not going to do it until you want to though. You're not going to do it until you get tired of your own shit.
Yeah, because then you're gonna realize, fuck, like, why do I keep doing this?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, why do I? But at the same time, like, it's about more of like self-awareness, right?
Yeah.
Because you always have to be aware about like what you're doing, and you have to remember like why you do things all the time. Because it's like, okay, I'm doing this because I want to, but like, what have I done for me?
Yeah.
Where do I stand with myself?
Absolutely.
You
And
have
that
to,
comes
like,
with time. That comes with time.
I feel like reflecting,
definitely.
I feel like reflecting and respecting myself. I feel like for me, respecting myself comes with me succeeding and thriving. And if I'm not succeeding in my life, then I'm not going to respect myself. Like, who, you fucking dumbass.
Yeah, but then you also hold yourself to a very high standard where you're just
that's my fucking problem too.
But that's another thing though, because it's like you're not, if you're always going to continue to do that, you're never going to be happy and content. So you have to remember that, you're working towards your goal, and you have to stop for a moment and remind yourself and look back at what you have achieved, and remember that, you know what, I'm very proud of where I am today. I know where I'm heading. And if it doesn't happen, I know that it won't happen because it wasn't because I didn't try. Yeah. It just didn't happen because destiny, God, just didn't
my purpose
allow it
in life
wasn't that
what he had for me.
Exactly. So when you hold those standards it's good to hold standards for yourself, but you also have to, it's one of my issues, right? You have to always remember to live in the today, because you're so concerned about the future.
I am.
And like where you need to be and where you're not. Like my issue is I'm always focused on where I'm not or what I'm not doing.
I'm always focused on where I'm going and not where the fuck I am.
Yeah.
Because
so time just passes you by. You don't even live in the present.
When you are not happy with where you are, when I am not happy with where I am, I chase something more until I find that happiness. And I found going to a rancho, I have a cousin who works on a rancho, and going to that rancho and working on the rancho, running errands, picking up hay, moving goats, fucking picking up goats and pegándosela a la mamá. Just ranch shit.
Oh, I want to go.
Sí, somos primas. Where's Ricky when you need him?
Literally, where's my brother? He's the one that started that goat noise.
Oh, man.
But being in that space, you guys have no idea the amount of love and peace that I felt.
The true happiness came.
We hear it.
At the rancho. Like, at the rancho. And I've always wanted that ranch life. And some people are like, oh, she wants to follow like a ranch. No. I don't mind cleaning horse stalls and shit and having my own, if it's for my own space and like my own rancho and everything. That's my happy place.
That's your prerogative.
That is
you can do what you want.
You found yourself.
Exactly.
And being there, it's like there was no time. Just being there in that day, I don't remember a time where I was that fucking happy or anything that can make me that happy in a long fucking time, you guys. Yeah. And so that's why I say, when you are not happy with where you are, like, fuck, I'm chasing my career, I'm working, I'm making money, but I'm still not happy with where I am. You don't feel that inner peace.
Yeah.
And for me personally, I don't respect myself because I'm not happy with I'm not reaching my fullest potential of being happy. And when I am at the rancho,
you're like, this is why I'm here. This is why I existed.
I'm working.
This is why I was born.
My purpose.
This is why I'm working towards what I'm working. Mm-hmm. So one day I can have something like this and grow my own fucking fruits and vegetables and raise my children to be outside and fucking doing redneck shit if they want to be doing redneck shit and fucking just living their best life. And I hadn't realized that until like I started going to el ranch, que me invitó el primo y que fuimos. I hadn't realized how I always loved the ranch life every time I go to Mexico.
That's the beauty about the whole your process.
Yeah.
It's your process.
It's another thing you're learning.
Exactly. It's like you're now discovering this part of you that you didn't know was there before.
Now it's at the top of your list.
Exactly. Because now you had been so used to following the structure that you never would have realized how much happiness that brought to you because you were so focused on
la escuela,
everything else.
That my parents are like, tú no te metas en carpintería. Son muchas distracciones. Yeah. Tú te tienes que enfocar en la escuela. I'm like, but you guys don't fucking understand that I'm not in school right now, bro. Like, what do you want me to do? Grab a legal book and start reading? Yes, you can educate yourself. Yes.
But you need a break.
But there's a time and a place for everything.
Balance.
And right now, I'm not in fucking school yet. Let me breathe, because once I start school, game over, bitch. That shit is 100% focus, grind, getting your shit together and passing the fucking bar exam.
But the motherly side of me is like, that comes from a place of love and of them wanting you to avoid a hard life. That's like why derailing. They push education. That's why they push us to do, this. So you could, so you won't have the life that I had. You know, it's the same thing. All our parents have kind of a similar.
I
feel like, a lot of Mexican parents, they never lived through their passions. They never really lived. No. They never really lived their best life.
I mean, have you ever talked to your dad about his life in Mexico? I've talked to my mom multiple times. She had to,
Well, here's the thing, though. I feel like my dad lived an entirely different life than your mom.
100%.
My dad is like, no, pues mi hija ya tenía como 13 años y me acuerdo que agarraba las esas de cerveza y nos íbamos al cerro que nos íbamos a ir a la escuela.
Yes. While my mom had to sneak out just to go play basketball.
Literally. Yeah. So
it's
very different lives. My dad, he would tell us about cuando se iba caminando desde Santa María. Se iban en burro. 3 días duraban para llegar a Cotija. Mi papá y la familia somos de Santa María del Oro, pero my dad was born in Cotija. 3 días a burra llegaban a vender fruta para sacar para comer. And every time my dad talks about my grandpa selling fruit and making a life for him, a better life, he brings that back on us. He's like, this is what I wanted for you since we were little.
And it's so crazy because like your dad sees it that way. My dad just never says that kind of stuff. You know, like my dad is just something else.
Yeah, he is.
Like my dad is just, wow.
Bien relaxed.
He's so relaxed.
Bien relaxed. Todo está bien.
Como beben por ver a Dios nacido. Beben y vuelven a beber. Rafa y sus amigos por ver a Dios nacer.
Yeah, my dad is always so like relaxed, and he's always like, dude, like you want this toy, I'll give it to you. You want this, I'm gonna give it to you.
He's
you
chill.
Want this, I'm gonna give it to you.
But
and
in a way, do you think he's figured it all out in regards to not stressing about the things that
your dad
don't matter?
My dad, all he says is like, my dad is my dad, I swear, my dad is just like, I feel like he didn't have these things and he no longer suffers from them because he can now have everything. Oh yeah. Like my dad, sale nuevo iWatch, dude, he has the better iWatch than me. Sale nuevo teléfono, va y se lo compra. Like siempre tiene cosas llegando del Amazon. He loves the LA Dodgers, the Lakers, and the Dallas Cowboys. Sale algo, mi papá ya le compró, my mom started working out at the gym, mi papá le fue y compró leggings. De un lado decía Dallas y el otro lado Cowboys. Oh my God. Que para que se pusiera para cuando fuera al gimnasio. My mom was like, I am not wearing this.
Why not?
Dallas Cowboys.
They're cute.
They look ridiculous. Cowboys. And my dad always says things like, I spoil you guys because I didn't have any of these things. Yep. My dad says like, cuando yo crecía, pues nomás comíamos puro frijol y arroz y tortilla.
Yeah.
Like sopitas.
Yep.
Which is what
tenían. They didn't have electricity, bitch. Exactly. They didn't have a refrigerator. No tenían electricidad. They didn't even have like a really good roof over their head.
Y mi papá me decía que a él le encantaba, El Chavo del Ocho, and then he loved watching the show, but they didn't have TV. They didn't have nothing. So my dad would have to ask permission to go to stay the night with mi abuelita Lupita, and mi abuelita Lupita lo llevaba a comer unas enchiladas So they had an actual, you know, like TV there, and then my dad is like, era de la única forma que podía ver el Chavo del Ocho.
Yeah.
So then my dad would, like, when he was younger, he'd be like, I'd ask to stay at my grandma's so that I can sneak off, and mi abuelita me dejaba, you know, like to go watch. Otherwise, I was not allowed, you know, to do any of those things. And like, I remember, like, mi abuelita Lupita, like my great grandma,
she was with the shit, bro.
She
saved a lot of motherfuckers from ass beatings. Like, she saved me from ass beatings all the time.
Yeah,
I just run behind her. My grandma would be like, no le pegues a mi papá, and that's his grandma. So if my grandma's telling me don't hate my kid, bro,
una vez,
I'm not gonna have my grandma forever. I'm gonna respect what my grandma says. Be like, I'm gonna beat your ass.
Like, I would remember. I remember I would get there, you know, and then I'd go visit them. You know, like they were neighbors with my grandma. So I'd go visit them, and then I'd be like, oh, tío, me puede por favor ayudar a cómo conectar la manguera para que le pueda, you know, like to like.
Aquí está la pinche manguera.
Whoa. No. Me daba para ayudarle a regar las plantitas y la manzanilla. No mames, güey.
Es que hay un show de Vete a la Verge. If you guys don't watch it, go check it out. And it's like, ¿en dónde está la manguera? Se está quemando el carro. Y le dice el güey, aquí está la pinche manguera. Oh my God, las mamadas que veo, la verdad, las mamadas.
No,
que...
is that the same show that?
No, Pues Guau.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say, is that the same show that where
no,
you?
It's not.
Like,
it's
you do your fucking.
Las habichuelas me inflaman el colon. Quiero dos, por favor. Oh my God. Qué rico.
Yeah, that makes me cringe. But
anyways,
they did save our beatings, you know, like I feel like I grew a very like strong relationship with my great grandma and my tío Joselito, you know, to to the point where like my tío Joselito, if like I would just like whenever I did something bad, I think I remember I would bolt all the way to my tío Joselito, and then he would come out like, no quiero que le pongan ni le toquen un pelo a Michelle, por favor. Like he was like not afraid to say that to my mom. And my mom would be like, te salvaste por esta. Te salvaste por esta. But it's just these beautiful memories and these beautiful things that, you know, that they raised you and that they taught you because they came from all the like hardships and stuff. And honestly, like now that they come and they see to the States, even the low quality living of the United States does not
poverty
compare
level
to
in America,
like,
bitch, is not poverty level in Nicaragua or fucking Central
in
America.
Mexico,
It
like
is not.
even
The Northern Triangle.
Yeah.
The fuck out of here. Like poverty. We grew up poverty level. Bitch, I went to Chuck E. Cheese when I was a kid. Like that shit ain't poverty. Like to me, poverty level is like living in a hut, Ciudad Juarez type of fucking thing, crossing the border.
I grew up,
no shoes, no fucking running water, no food for fucking days.
No vas a cenar.
No vas a cenar.
Y a dormir.
Yeah, like en un tejaban, you know, like
literally,
your
dude.
roof is like the
a literal mud hut.
Yeah, basically. Or made out of clay maybe.
Yeah.
Pero regresando a lo que decías de los papás y los, I don't blame them for being the way that they are. Like I can't, bro.
They are a product of their environment.
Yes.
You can't fault them for that.
Right.
And they love us. We're their kids, yes, but
no, chingues, way. Get
it's
with
just
the
different.
shit.
So they hold us to the standard of like, bitch,
Yeah.
we didn't have this, and here you are, like not taking
advantage of it.
Yeah. But the thing is, it's like, well, because this is our lives.
Yeah.
Our struggles are different than your struggles.
Way different.
And what we have to go through is completely different, and we're completely blessed. But you know what? Our struggles are entirely different than what your struggles were.
Dude, 100%.
It's almost like
with
the
my
two
kids,
don't correlate.
Yeah, they really don't. They're so
our
different.
lives and their lives, it's like
so fucking different. I feel like for my kids, I want their life. Dios quiera y me bendiga con hijos, ¿no? ¿Verdad? Pero I feel like for my kids, I want to be their mother, but I also want to like teach them the things that I wish I learned at a young age, like the importance of that. And you know, all of the things.
What are some things that you wish that you could have learned when you were at a younger age?
How to be, you know, self-reliant, how to not. Obviously, my mom, she definitely did teach us like don't depend on a man. But on the other side, it was like, okay, you are gonna get married. You have to do things right, the right way.
Yep.
But for me, it's like I want to teach my kids about this creative process, right?
Yeah.
Structure is important. Discipline is critical for success. The most successful people are the most disciplined. But you have to have a creative mindset. How are you? The people that are most successful are the people that figured out how to do shit easier, faster, cheaper, and at a fucking huge scale, right? Yeah. The most successful people are those who found a better way.
They figured it out.
That was through their creative
I think it has
mindset.
to do with like what you're around, who you surround yourself
Exactamente.
with. What you're putting in your mind. Think about your stomach and your body, right?
Tu microbiome.
Yeah, you eat.
Your fupa.
You know, you are what you eat.
Cállate.
You do. You are what you eat. And so think about your thoughts and your creative mind being the same. So what are you feeding your brain? Yeah. What are you feeding your mind? What are you listening to every single day? Yes. And I hate to say, you know, because I love music.
Bad Bunny, but
you know what I mean? But it's like, okay, sometimes you're like, are you really analyzing the things that are like parenting?
There's garbage television, there's garbage music.
Exactly.
You can indulge in those things.
Exactly.
As long as you know what they're saying.
Exactly. And so it's just like understanding, but I feel
not
like
easily influenced by it.
That's where I was heading. It's strong.
Somos primas, no?
Yeah, sí,
yeah, like it's okay to an extent, because sometimes there are people that they don't have the ability to, because their brain works differently than most people, or than some people, or not. Everybody's brain honestly just works differently. And they're not able to differentiate, you know, some of those things. And so that by default, that's what they know. That's what they listen to. That's what they default to. And so they think that this is okay to do because this is what I see. This is what I hear. This is what I'm putting into my brain. Fortunately enough, we're smarter than that. You know what I mean? Like we know better.
Now.
Well, how the fuck do you think we got there? And you know what's crazy? That we all got there, but we grew up together to an extent, but you guys, we all lived our lives for a hot minute.
Yeah,
so how the fuck did we get to where we got? Being of the same family, but living our own lives. I went to college at 18. You were doing your thing. You were doing your thing. You moved away to Texas. Like we have a very similar understanding of what structure does and is, and discipline and all that stuff. But how the fuck did we get there as a family being so different?
I think it's the infrastructure that our parents built, even though they're strict, even though they have their shit. Everyone has their shit, but
we're all independent thinkers, you guys.
We are.
Todos pensamos, no me voy a dejar de un hombre. And I think, you know what I think it is too? There's hella fucking women in our family.
There is.
Somos todos casi viejas. Más que el Fito y el Ricky, el Alito.
Y la mera verdad, y algo que estoy tan agradecida is that the men that are in our family no son machistas.
No, they're not.
Son machistas. Ricky kind of más o menos had some machista views and kind of a little bit more conservative. Yeah. But I've been kind of smacking his ass around and kind of he's getting with the shits. Like he's more like, okay, you're right. I do have to respect everybody's beliefs and everybody's right to, you know, everything, right? Más respeto, no? Lalito, that motherfucker. It's like, bitch, if you want to go fucking fuck cockroaches, go fuck cockroaches. Like, shit.
Yeah, you know,
I'm gonna be here eating my fucking 25 tacos. Our cousin eats so many fucking tacos and he's so skinny. He's like, I'm gonna be over here fucking riding in metro and fucking going.
Saludos, Lalito.
Saludos a la Ciudad de México. Desde California.
Estamos acá las pinches pochitas, güey. ¿Cómo estás, carnal? Te extrañamos, güey. ¿Qué onda, ñero? ¿Qué onda? No, but like él nunca nos ha dicho, tienes que ser así, or fucking machistas or anything. Le vale madre, güey. Yeah. And Fito también. Yeah. Fito's definitely one of those people that are like, le vale madre. Oh, Giovanni's never fucking imposed.
He's so chill.
Giovanni's
my
fucking
brother,
chill. Yeah.
My brother is more of the type to be like, oh no, like he's just so. My brother's mentality and my brother's thought process is like completely more different than everybody else's, because he's a lot more mellow.
And as
he got a little bit of your dad.
He did, but he got the philosophical side of my mom's side of the family. Yes, because for example, like I feel like my grandma and anybody else, if I want to have a conversation or a debate, you know, let's just say, or you know, like challenge your thoughts, and you know, like what we did in Avid, let's just say in that class I was saying, like sometimes you challenge each other's thoughts or whatever. Like if you ever want to actually have a profound philosophical conversation with like, for example, somebody in the family, I feel like they would just take things personal and like you're wrong.
Attacked,
like they're not able
feeling personally attacked. Like
they
calm
don't,
your pussy down,
like,
Gina.
I'm just
We're
trying,
not here
I'm just
to come
trying to
for
have
you.
a philosophical
Relax your flaps,
conversation.
okay?
Relax the flaps.
Relax your flaps.
Like,
Relax the
exactly.
fupa.
And so like I feel like that elevated thinking, like my brother, you can actually have that kind of conversation with him. You can have like that deep, profound conversation.
I can have that with my brothers, with Ricky too. Like with Ricky,
and like with my grandpa. That's what amazes me. Like my mom's dad, he's that kind of type of person that is just like, oh, see,
you know what?
And like he can have like this super like. You can talk to him about like Sigmund Freud. You can talk to him about like Einstein and like super
theories and
like all of these different things because he was just that way. And I feel like that's my brother. My brother, he doesn't have like straight A. He graduated school early because he's like, I don't care about school. But if you talk to him about like science, he'll be able to tell you everything.
Saludos.
Dude, saludos.
Love you, Gio.
Oigan, creo que lo acabo de descubrir.
¿Qué pasó?
None of the males in our life are very standard machista at all. Your dad is not a machista.
No, he's not.
My dad is not a machista. My dad is strict as fuck and he follows the Bible, but he's not a machista. Like, we've had debates que el hombre es la cabeza, blah, 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 okay, right? But other than that, he's not a machista like, yo puedo más porque tú no. Da, 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 da. Your dad is not a machista. Your grandpa's
weird.
Your grandpa's not a machista. Our grandpa was strict, but he wasn't a machista. My tío's not a machista.
We got very lucky, I think.
And I feel like when you grow up in that machista culture, we were surrounded by machista culture, though.
We were
very much fucking so.
I mean,
and I feel like we didn't put up with that shit because I never put up with that shit. Since I was young.
Yeah.
I'm a professional. I'm really disciplined in being a cabrona. I've always fucking argued with my parents of like, no, I don't have to submit myself to anything or anyone.
So what I was telling my mom about these things, my mom, I have all these. My mom is a preacher, just like, her dad.
My dad's a preacher.
But the thing with my
Jesus
mom
Christ.
is like, my mom is not a preacher that is going to preach religion into you. She's more of like, if you come to me, I'll talk to you. Ask me the questions. I'm not going to pressure you into believing into any of these things, right? And so like when I was having this conversation, I told my mom, I'm like, Mom, so then why do you think that this is the case? And she said, it's written in the Bible that, yeah, sure, that is the case. She's like, but you are only to follow if he's living a godly life, if he's respecting you, if he's giving you your place, if he's actually, being a true quote unquote man. Otherwise, you don't have to.
Yeah, literally.
Like, you don't have to do any of these things.
For what?
Yeah,
bitch?
exactly. It's like, si te está tratando bien, si te quiere, te ama, then yeah, you support each other.
What?
And you don't have to take things, my mom said, you don't have to take things so literal, You
guys,
it was just an example that, the woman submits to the man who follows a godly life. Well, it's not literal, because it could go vice versa. It's just a phrase in a like, metábolas, is that what they said? What is it called? Parábolas is what they use.
Las parábolas de la Biblia.
It does not mean like literal, and I mean, I don't mean to make this in like Bible type of thing.
I think you should I think everybody can interpret it in a different way.
Correct.
You just have to have the capacity to interpret it in the way that's going to adapt to your life.
Yeah.
And be able to
Scripture
elevate
is
your
so
thought.
beautiful. You just have to elevate your thought, elevate your mind, open it up a little bit and think, how does this apply to my life, my emotions, my feelings, the way that I am, my personality? And a lot of people don't think about that. Like,
no.
And the other thing, I literally know people that were returned back to their husbands. Women that were returned back to their husbands, and it's like
when they wanted to walk away from a situation that
you got to stay, you got to figure it out.
You got to stay, you got to figure it out. You decided to marry this person, and they live
because I've been through worse.
We had someone
like what I had to deal with does not compare what you're dealing with, and that's your husband. And you chose go that back.
Person. I had a friend that lived when I was a kid. She lived with us, and her parents had sent her back. She was young too, fucking had a little baby. She lived with us. She worked for us, and my mom was like, no, yeah, you can come here. You can rent a room from us for a little bit. And then once you get back up on your feet, find your own place. And this girl, she didn't have anywhere to go. Her parents had sent her back to an abusive relationship and she didn't fucking settle. She contacted my mom and she was like, I can't. I have my baby girl. I have to think about my baby girl. And it's like, that shit for me, it's so common sense, like all the way back there, bro. I'm over here in the fucking advanced common sense, but that shit right there is common sense. And being here, a lot of women don't know that because they don't have anything to fall back on.
And everything ties back to the structure, you know, the standards that they were taught since they were, you know, little.
And they're not I feel like women aren't taught the way that we were, like, they weren't taught to, yes, you're going to come together maybe 50-50 with your partner. But for me, it's like, fuck that. I want to be 50-50 with my partner. Shit, I want to have him pay for everything if he can. I don't give a fuck. But I want to be able to have the ability to give my 100%. If he passes, if he leaves me, if I leave him, if it doesn't work out, I want to be able to provide 100%. Yeah, 50-50, 75-30, shit, 80-20.
There's going to be times,
90-10, let's go there.
Yeah.
99-1, like, I'll give 1%. I don't give a fuck. I'm not going to be like, no, women should give more. No. Yeah. I can give 1%.
It's whatever works in your relationship as long as the whole is 100%.
But I want to have the capability to be able to provide for my children if I end up alone for any number of fucking reasons. And a lot of women, they're not like, okay, tú tienes que pelear por tu familia, pelear por ti misma.
Por tu hogar.
And a lot of women, they're like, no, él es el proveedor, yo no me deja trabajar.
The best investment that you can ever do is the investment in yourself.
Yeah. In yourself, mamacita. In yourself.
Exactly.
Porque tú puedes, Esperancita. Y lo digo con todo amor y cariño y respeto, que todas las mujeres y los hombres también, las mujeres y los hombres no deberían de echarle ganas para ser la mejor versión de ellos y para poder ser la mejor pareja.
I may add, because you know this kind of hits close to home for me personally.
Like,
let's just say like you choose to not work on you because you know that person is providing, that person is helping you, and that person, you know, is doing everything. ¿Y qué vas a hacer el día de mañana que esa persona falte?
Yeah.
Literalmente.
¿Qué vas a hacer? Like, what have you done for you?
How have you prepared your financial state of mind, your goals, your dreams? How have you prepared your career or your job?
¿Cómo vas a seguir luchando? ¿Cómo vas a salir adelante?
¿Cuál es tu
you
plan
never
B?
actually gave yourself the opportunity to continue to grow. And, you know, there's a lot of times where I say, well, no, it's because I focused in, you know, school and I got married and
I did the way that I was structured to do it.
No, it's just
my
an
structure.
excuse.
I followed exactly the structure that my parents told me to follow. And now I am in this...
That's
the
how you
fucking
get
neighbors,
stuck.
bro. The neighbors.
God.
Literal, los pobres vecinos tóxicos, güey.
Toxic neighbors.
Literally.
Fight every week.
Do you not give love
other.
yourself enough for you to understand that there's a time where you just draw the line and you say, this isn't good for me
enough is
anymore. Enough is enough.
Yeah.
Enough
like,
is
why
enough.
are you there?
Yeah.
Like, value.
We live one life,
give yourself
bitch.
love and give your worth and set your standards
live one life,
and live
literally.
by them.
Yes, enough is enough.
That should be your structure.
Structure.
Put that shit on a shirt.
Take everything you've learned about structure, everything. Discipline, getting to work on time, getting off of work, going to the gym, doing your thing, meal prepping. Take all of that structure and discipline and adapt it to your life and creatively think, how the fuck am I going to succeed with the structure that I have? With the structure that I've been given? How am I going to take that structure and turn it into my own structure?
And create your consistency, right? Because sometimes you do things, right, that you don't necessarily want to do. But you know what? That's life. Everybody does things that we don't necessarily want to do. Yeah. So guess what? While you're creating your structure, even if you're doing things that you don't necessarily want to do, you still give it your 100%. Yeah. You know what? I only have 100%, of me, right, to give right now. So if, we're having a meeting for the podcast and I really wish I could invest, 5 hours every week to the podcast. But you know what? Right now, I only have an hour to give.
Yeah.
But I'm going to give this hour 100% of my attention.
Yeah. Yes.
If I'm at work right now, nothing else matters because right now I am at work and I'm going to try my best to give it 100% here. If I'm going to work, if I have my job, I'm going to try and give it 100% of me. If I'm in a relationship, I'm going to try to give it 100% of me.
Yes.
And that's just kind of like what you have to, continuously. And then you have to stop and you got to check yourself and then you got to analyze.
Growth
and then
check.
Exactly.
Have a fucking growth check.
Yeah.
And see how the fuck you're doing with your
have
structure and your
conversations
discipline
with yourself.
Every month.
I talk to myself every day, bitch.
Yeah.
Like, wait, don't we all?
I talk to myself every day.
Hold on, don't we all?
Yeah, exactly.
I talk out loud to myself
I'm
all the
in
time.
my car.
Time.
I'm driving in my car and I'm talking to myself and people look at me and I'm like, I don't give a fuck. They probably
I'm
think
like
on the
literally
phone.
like hand gestures, body
fuck
language.
were you
like,
thinking?
what were you thinking?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm on the phone. You know, I'm on the phone.
Literally, I don't
it's
give
my
a fuck though.
Bluetooth.
A mí me vale madre.
But it's like sometimes you have to have these conversations with yourself and like actually talk to yourself and understand that, okay, like, and then you got to realize like, fuck, am I right or am I wrong? Challenge your own thoughts.
yeah.
And
understand
it's
am
like
I doing this right? Am I fucking living my best life?
Constantly.
What's holding me back?
Asking yourself, will this matter in my life in about a week from now or even
2
a month
days
from now?
Like even 2
Exactly.
days. Like I was stressing out a few weeks back. And I think I talked about it in the podcast. I was really stressed the fuck out. And I was stressed about anxiety comes and stems from you and the person that you want to become. Like it's anxiety is it right there of you trying to grasp the person that you're trying to become, but you're not there yet. And so you get so anxious and you fucking start overthinking and doubting yourself of like, fuck, I'm never going to get there. But you guys, you have to think about these things, because if you don't think about these things that we're talking about in the podcast in every fucking episode, you guys are just going to fall into a cycle. El cycle sigue 9 to 5, 9 to 5.
Un círculo vicioso.
Yeah.
Vicioso. Maligno. Que no los va a beneficiar mentalmente, físicamente. And there can be so many stems from this, but we wanted to talk about structure because I struggle with developing a structure for myself.
Same.
I'm not accountable to myself because I don't respect, we went through this. I don't respect myself and love myself enough. And I have to learn how to respect myself, because I respect others. And even if others disrespect me, that's not my business. That's their business. Unless they make it my business.
Yeah.
But if I learn to respect and truly love myself, and as confident as I am, and as confident as I may seem, and my self-esteem, my personality, everything, you guys, I fucking struggle. I struggle.
One of the things that you have to remember is que eres tú.
Soy una guerrera.
Segundo, tú.
Poderosa.
Por tercero eres tú. Y últimamente siempre vas a ser tú. Y después el resto de las personas.
So
first,
but I don't fucking think like that.
You come in first, you come in second, you come in third, and then everybody else.
It comes with time, Tita.
My dad raised us to always help and give to others because we were so blessed and privileged. Y Dios nos ha bendecido. And so I want to be selfless and not selfish, but I also have to learn to be a little bit selfish, because being a little bit selfish and loving yourself is critical for you to be able to love and respect others.
Say it louder for the people in the back.
You guys.
Yeah, for real.
And it's fucking sad because I know this.
Yep.
It's even sadder that I know this and I still can't practice what I preach because of my own internal mental struggles.
Yeah.
Lo dije, puta madre, ya salí. Lo dije.
But
Tita,
you know,
that comes with time.
Yeah,
There's no other way to say it. I was also very selfless. Extremely selfless.
You fucking were for a long time.
100%.
Yes.
More than 6 years.
Yes.
And it was a time that I do not regret, but it was a learning experience. And now I'm very selfish. Selfish with my time, my energy, what I want to do.
Choose to spend time with.
Yes, 100%.
Even if it's a loved one.
Yeah.
It's like,
I'm investing my time and energy more into my friends and
I'm
family.
Second, I'm third.
And traveling and doing the things that I want to do. And 100%. It is something that you need to do for yourself. But no one can tell you. In the moment, nobody can tell you anything at all. And that's the fucked up part about it. Like, here it is.
You can't
I'm
save
telling
me
you
from
what
it. I have to go through it myself.
You have to go through it yourself.
You really can't save me from it.
No.
Yeah, and you know, just to conclude, but get to know you.
Conócete.
Love yourself.
Amate.
Develop your own structure, because it is concluded that you do need structure in your life.
Yes.
Follow it and remember to always continue to work on your own structure. build your foundations, your beliefs, what you want to do with your life, and just continue to work at it. And remember to always feed yourself in the positive and surround yourself with those that think like you, because that's only going to help you get closer to where you want to be.
Yeah.
Big fucking facts.
Any last minute thoughts?
Listen to podcasts that are going to benefit you.
Listen to No Pues Guau.
Listen to No Pues Guau. Yes.
All 50 of you that, you know,
our followers, our subscribers.
And, you know, the 300 that, you know, the views that we've gotten.
Bendito
you know,
Dios, bendito Dios.
Que Dios los bendiga, los queremos
Que Dios
mucho.
los bendiga, los ama,
Sigue
los
tu
proteja.
camino. Te
Sigue tu
queremos
camino.
mucho. You mean so much to us. And that means that, you know, whatever it is that we're doing, if we're doing something to help you and benefit you, then you know what? We love it. And we love having people here. Like my cousin Miriam, you know, give us a different perspective.
Words, I love you guys and I love what you guys are doing. And I think that these conversations that we have on the daily, like when we talk, just, you know, off camera, how deep are our conversations?
Very deep.
They need to be heard. They just do. They need to be heard. And if you can get anything from this, it's just be yourself. Nourish yourself first before getting into any sort of relationship, I guess. And that goes with relationships, friendships, anything. Be whole before jumping into
relationships. We don't mean relationships as in like you and a significant other.
No.
Relationships in general.
In general, yes.
In general, 100%.
Yes.
A relationship with your work, relationship with your boss, relationship with your
sugar daddy.
friends, your sugar daddy,
¿Qué?
El otro, el Sancho, whatever it is.
Lo que tengas, güey. O sea, lo que tengas. Pero
no vamos a juzgar.
Si vas a tener el Sancho, de menos enséñales el podcast, ¿no? Porque no vas a tener un güey, vas a tener dos, güey.
Tell them I thought of you because they mentioned El Sancho and I thought of you, so I'm going to share this podcast with you.
Those fucking memes of Future, those every time something new comes up and they're like, and I just can't help but think, like a big news story comes out and then it's Future texting. I just fucking can't help but think the fact that me and you were like the best and like I love you so much, blah, blah, blah. Like that, bitch.
That's how you need to share this podcast.
If you need to share this episode with anybody that you know that could benefit from it, fucking share it. That's all we ask.
Like we hear you and you're not alone.
Yes, compártelo. And hopefully this can help more people
us feedback
than we're reaching right now.
For sure.
Eventually, we want to reach more people. But, dude, if this can help a friend, a family member, a fucking cousin, a fucking man with a lot of money that's interested in a fucking girl that wants a ranch.
The ones that send us messages that I will pay you $5,000 a week for you, to be my sugar baby. To those.
Have
even
them
share it to
call
them.
Us.
If it's helping you, then pass it on to someone else and it'll be a positive influence in someone else's life.
Hopefully.
Correct.
Yeah.
Bendito Dios. Hopefully.
But we love you guys
Así
so
sea.
much.
Amén, hermanos.
So much.
Bendiciones, hermanos, de verdad.
Los queremos un chingo.
Los queremos un chingo.
Besos.
Besos y abrazos y...
Kisses for my bitches.
Kisses for my bitches.
Is this it?
Ay.
¿Qué estás haciendo? No, I guess it's not synced today.
Oh.
There you go.